The hunt is on for the Egypt Air flight that disappeared over the Mediterranean Sea. A grim warning from the United Nations as millions in South Sudan may face a food shortage. And in a gem of a sail, an exquisite jewel sets a world record. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. At this hour, an all-out search is underway for a missing Egypt Air passenger jet that vanished Thursday over the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt Air Flight 804 departed Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport bound for Cairo, but never landed at its destination. Now, Greek Defense Minister Panos Kamenos says the plane made sudden turns and a sharp descent from over 11,000 meters to 4,500 meters before disappearing from radar. French, Greek and Egyptian crews, along with the U.S. Navy, are searching for the missing jet, which had 66 passengers and crew on board. Greek officials said the search is taking place at sea, about 240 kilometers southeast of the island of Karpathos. French President François Hollande says nothing has been ruled out for the cause of the accident.
We have all the duty to know and learn everything about the causes of what happened, and no hypothesis is out of question, and none has been singled out. I therefore wanted that everything was made available to Greek and Egyptian authorities so we can liaise with them to send them boats, airplanes, to find where the airplane crashed and to retrieve, if possible, debris which will allow us to find out and know the truth.
Greek officials say the search is taking place about 240 kilometers southeast of the island of Karpathos. French Foreign Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault says France will contribute planes and boats to the search and is maintaining close contact with Egyptian authorities. The French and Egyptian foreign ministers have exchanged condolences over the incident. Joining us now live via Skype from Paris is journalist Lisa Bryant. Lisa, what more can you tell us from your end right now?
Well, as the French president, as you noted, Vincent, the French president says everything is up in terms of speculation. Could it be a crash, an accidental crash? Could it actually be a terrorist attack? He's actually ruling out nothing. Of course, experts say that, you know, that the possibility of a terrorist attack is among the options. However, it's important to remember that there's some interesting things that have happened in airline history also touching France, including the Germanwings crash last year, where we saw there was actually a pilot that downed the plane deliberately. And Egypt Air itself has had a similar situation in 1999. So, yes, eyes are turned on security and possible terrorist attacks. But as Mr. Hollande has said, right now, nobody's ruling out anything.
And we know that U.S. officials have also said a bomb on board is a possibility. Now, this is something definitely that will not make the French very, very happy in terms of what this will mean for the kind of security they have in France, right?
Well, yes and no, because we remember that after the Paris attacks and the Brussels attacks, including the airport attack, the French officials have stepped up security pretty massively around the country, including airports and transportation hubs. We see, you know, soldiers as well as police. It's interesting also to note that about 180,000 passengers traverse through Charles de Gaulle every day. That's the airport that Egypt Air took off from. Also, that Egypt Air flight went to a number of places before arriving in Paris and taking off. It seems to have gone to over 24 hours or so. It went to Eritrea, it went to Tunisia, crossed back into Cairo, then to Paris. So there are a lot of options that could have happened in terms of that. But yes, airport security is going to be one thing I think that investigators are going to be looking at.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you very much for those updates.
Thanks, Vincent.
Thank you very much. Journalist Lisa Bryant reporting live via Skype from Paris. Now for the latest from Egypt, reporter Amina Ashraf joins me live by phone now from Cairo. Welcome, Amina.
Hello, hi.
Yes, there's a lot that is being said, but just give us, the latest that you're hearing from Egyptian officials.
So Egyptian Egyptian officials have been very, very careful when issuing statements. Firstly, they have asked media or the media outlets here not to spread any false news and to be very careful in their reporting. This is a trend that we have seen over the past couple of months when any incident sort of hits Egypt. Also, the Egyptian authorities have been very careful not to say anything about this disappeared flight. They have said they do not know yet if it crashed or not, which is very contradicting to reports we're getting from Greece or France. And they've also, tried to rule out the option of terrorism as much as possible because the possible implications on the economic and tourism sector that this could have on Egypt. As I'm sure you might know, this is the third event this year alone that has plagued Egypt, and this could have very negative consequences on Egypt's economy and its tourism sector and many other aspects.
Indeed. And have you heard from relatives of those who may have perished in that plane? What are they saying?
So the people were in the airport, and they were reporting that the Egyptian authorities haven't been able to help them out. They haven't received any news from them. There isn't any information that is getting to them, which is, of course, causing them to be extremely stressed out, lose faith in the Egyptian authorities, as well as the search teams in the area that are trying to retrieve any debris or any signs of this flight.
Okay, and up to this point, what's going on in Egypt? In a few seconds.
So up to this point, basically, Egyptian authorities are investigating. The military has sent fighter jets to the area, and they're trying as much as possible to locate any debris that could indicate what exactly happened. But again, I would like to stress that the Egyptian authorities are very careful not to give out any information until they are 100% certain of what has happened with this flight.
Well, Amina, thank you very much. Amina Ashraf reporting from Cairo in Egypt. Now, one of the 219 underage girls kidnapped 2 years ago by Boko Haram terrorists from a school in Nigeria has been found in a forest in northeastern Borno State. The brazen mass abduction from the Chibok school in April 2014 shocked the world and sparked campaigns demanding action to liberate the girls. A group of U.S. lawmakers on Wednesday welcomed the news of the return of one of those girls. VOA's Laritza Hoke has more.
A group video of Chibok girls made by their captors soon after their abduction caused outrage at home and abroad. It became a reminder that Boko Haram is one of the most barbaric terrorist groups today. Many Nigerians have blamed the government for a lack of effort to rescue the girls. The return of one of them now gives some hope to the families of the other missing girls.
Every day I've been here because of the hope, and our hope now has been rekindled because of the rescue of this very one that I got the news today.
Several U.S. lawmakers welcomed the news that the girl identified as 19-year-old Amina Alinkeki has been rescued, and they expressed concern about the others.
I have been told by one of my sources in Nigeria that in a meeting with her family, Amina, who also was identified by the vice principal of the school, said that approximately 6 of the girls have died.
The Islamist group abducted more than 270 female students, but some of them managed to escape in the first few days. The rest could not be found as Boko Haram members frequently crossed the border into Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. Amina told police the remaining girls are held together. U.S. officials are calling on the Nigerian government to undertake urgent action to rescue them before they are moved to another place or dispersed.
President Buhari, go immediately. Formulate with your military brass. Begin to stand up against the Boko Haram to pull these girls out.
The call comes just days after Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari told a regional security conference in Abuja that controlling Boko Haram's movements remains a challenge.
When our neighbors, we have more than 1,500 kilometers neighborhood. Now in an area where donkeys, oxen, camels can cross any time of the day, it's not easy to guard that border.
Even if the girls were freed, their ordeal may not be over. Women who have escaped Boko Haram in the past report facing stigma upon returning to their own communities. Slarica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
Amina Ali Darsha Nkeki arrived on Thursday at the presidential villa in Abuja, Nigeria, to meet President Muhammadu Buhari. She entered Buhari's office after having been flown from the northeastern city of Maiduguri to the capital on a presidential jet. She was accompanied by her mother, Binta, and Nigeria's Minister of Defense and National Security Advisor. Now, I want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince Makori. Coming up, the looming food crisis in South Sudan. Stay with us.
This is Green Beat for a healthier planet.
A chimpanzee is one of our closest relatives, sharing more than 95% of our DNA. But that similarity doesn't prevent chimps from being victims at the hands of humans. Stephen Ngulu is a veterinarian at the Sweetwater Sanctuary in Kenya.
There is a bushmeat trade in West Africa, in Central Africa. There is illegal trade in great apes. Illegal trade in great apes to Europe, to Russia, to Asia.
Sweetwater Sanctuary holds nearly 40 orphaned and abused chimpanzees. The ideal situation, says Dr. Ngulu, would be to return the chimps to their home in the wild.
They should be in their natural environment, but we as humans are destroying that.
1 million chimpanzees used to roam freely across West and Central Africa. But the Jane Goodall Institute says their numbers have dwindled to just a few 100,000 due to illegal hunting and trade and loss of habitat. I'm Rebecca Ward for VOA's Green Beat.
Well, an encounter with a man who murdered his daughter triggered a flood of emotions in Muhammad Ali Noor Americo, the former Somali ambassador to Kenya. His impulse was to kill him on the spot. Instead, he hugged the killer and embarked on a mission he calls the Peace Journey. On a recent visit to VOA, Ambassador Ali Noor Americo told me how it all happened.
Actually, September 14, 2014, I remember like now. That day, I went to Mogadishu for vacation, and I was having coffee, cappuccino actually, in a small restaurant at the beach in Mogadishu, Lido Beach, and I was having with some friends of mine. While we were sitting, a young gentleman came on our table, and he stand in front of me, and he said, "Are you Ambassador Muhammad Ali Americo?" And, you know, being in Mogadishu, of course, security, you know, you just cannot answer to anyone.
Yeah.
And I hesitated first, and then I said, you know, yes, it's me. And then in a really, you know, a lower voice, he said, can I please talk to you alone? And I said, okay, come have a seat here. And I asked my friends to sit on another table. And he started telling me that he was deported from Saudi Arabia. He said that he went to Saudi Arabia in 1992 looking for a job. He said that since then he never got a decent job, that he's been arrested, you know, all this time. But now he came back, and after talking to his family, they told him that Ambassador Muhammad Ali Americo is in town. You better talk to him.
And what is it that he needed to talk to you about?
When he said that he wanted to talk to me and talk about jobs, I thought that he was going to ask me for a job. And I said, what can I do for you? And then I can see his eyes became red. And he said that he was part of some militias, you know, armed militias who attacked our house, my father's house, in 1992. When he said that, you know, I became emotional, and I remembered what he's talking about, which was the day that my daughter, Yasmin Muhammad Ali, who was 18 months, was killed in our house.
I mean, this young man was was among the people who attacked your house and killed your daughter. And now he's standing right in front of you.
He's sitting in front of me, and he kept going, and I can see that his eyes were becoming more red, and tears were coming to his eyes. And he said that he wanted to talk to me. He said that he wants to ask for forgiveness. And while he was saying that, he sat down knelt in front of me and holding my knees, saying that, please, can you forgive me? And while he was saying that, my mind went back to 1992, that day. Very sad day for me and my family. It's really, I also become emotional talking about this now. I remember holding my baby, Yasmin, with blood on her, you know, and the day, in the afternoon, also burying her, taking her to a cemetery. All these things came to my mind.
And you're looking at this guy. This is the person who did it, or at least one of those who did it.
Yes, and he's admitting to me, and I started crying, you know, and I told him, get up, you know, and I was holding his shoulders, and many things came to my mind. Should I go outside, grab a gun from one of the security guys? Should I take him to the police station? Should I take him to the ocean and drown him, you know, kill him? You know, all these bad things came to my mind. But I have to thank God that, again, I was calm, and I told him, I forgive you.
Wow.
Just like that. And I can remember the people, the customers in the restaurant, everybody looking at us, you know. And then he hugged me. And we hugged each other, and really we cried. And then we sat down, and I told him that I forgive you, my family forgive you, but you have to ask forgiveness for God. You pray, ask for forgiveness. After I did that, the good thing was that people really welcomed that. Of course, my wife and my kids also said that I did the right thing. I talked to the media. I remember talking to VOA and other media, talk about what I did.
Well, it's time now for Health Report, and joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Lino Mudu with some grim news for the residents of South Sudan. Lino.
The United Nations World Food Programme has issued a warning that hunger in South Sudan may double due to drought and a collapsing economy.
At a food distribution center in Arroyo, northern Bahr el Ghazal, World Food Programme nutritionist Felista Busi tests women and children for malnutrition. A reading lower than 12 indicates severe malnutrition.
This is a girl, and she is 2 years old, and she is also severely malnourished. The MUOC is reading 11.
The World Food Programme warns that more than 5 million people may go hungry in South Sudan. WFP says despite attempts to end the civil war that has devastated the country for more than 2 years, a collapsing economy and erratic rainfall are contributing to a growing crisis. Those who can are moving on.
I'm living with anger and sadness because hunger is forcing me to leave my homeland. Your homeland is your homeland. If there was something to eat, I would not even think of leaving.
Markets are still open, but in some cases, prices have doubled. Some people rely on aid from WFP. The organization says it urgently needs more than $200 million over the next 6 months before the rainy season starts, making many parts of the country inaccessible.
We're scaling up our response in this area so that we can be able to cater for these people. It is a process that we're beginning, and it's something that needs a lot of support, and we are also therefore calling on all our donor partners who have supported us this far in the past 2 years since we had conflict to come even more.
2.8 million people have been already classified as in crisis or emergency. About 40,000 are thought to be suffering from an outright famine.
Joining us in the studio for more on the situation in South Sudan is Silke Peach, Technical Director for Action Against Hunger, a global humanitarian organization committed to ending world hunger. Ms. Peach, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let me have your reaction to the report. Your organization is working on the ground in South Sudan. What is the situation there? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so the situation we see is very dire. South Sudan has been on our radar for a long time now. We come together with a number of humanitarian actors in country on a regular basis to exchange information we have gathered, to look at where the gaps are in the country. So we see about 5 million people who are in need of humanitarian aid. We see at least 3 million people who are already now in severe hunger crisis. So we're very concerned about those. We're very specialized at Action Against Hunger in undernutrition. So we're concerned about the children under 5 years of age, pregnant and lactating women. We see 1 out of 4 children being acutely undernourished at this point of time, with an increasing tendency. So we're very, very concerned, and there is an immediate need for action from the humanitarian community to step up and scale up the response we're able to deliver on the ground.
So the immediate need, the immediate aid that is needed, you talk about scaling up. In what area we see that there is the hunger and drought? What area needs to be addressed, really?
So overall, South Sudan has multiple kind of crises in itself going on at the same time. You can see the western side of the country is very much in chronic crisis. For many years that we've been trying to support the recovery from the past kind of war, etc. The main focus on the acute emergency now is really on the eastern parts, northeastern parts of the country, where there's still active fighting. And one of the key problems or challenges we face is access to those areas for the humanitarian responders. We're not able to go there. We're not able to see what are the needs, how much of the population is in what needs exactly. So as long as we're not able to get there, it's really hard to define the needs and be able to deliver on those needs appropriately.
But you're working on the ground, so what is Action Against Hunger able to do at this point?
So at this point of time, in the northeast, in the acute crisis, we are working on the treatment of undernutrition, focused on children under 5 and pregnant and lactating women. We're supporting the coordination of the camps and settlements of internally displaced people. We're working on food distributions, we're working on water and sanitation to provide the minimum needs. There's lots of additional needs in terms of mental health. People have gone through trauma, there's displacement. So we're very concerned about the overall situation and well-being of that population in terms of not us only getting there, but as well being able to respond to the large scale of the needs. We're talking about 3 million people. That's a lot of people to kind of support acutely and immediately there.
That's a lot of people. And quickly, as we look at specifically undernutrition and malnutrition, what other issues must also be addressed to ensure that as patients recover, they have a good well-being?
Right. So at Action Against Hunger, we look at undernutrition as a holistic problem, if you wish. Undernutrition doesn't exist just in itself. It comes out of a problem with food, with care practices, with water, with diseases. So we're very concerned, especially at this point of time. We're moving into the hungry season. Food will get scarcer and scarcer. We're moving into the rainy season. Waterborne disease will come up. We will have a lot of diarrhea. We will have an increase in malaria. So we're very worried about the confounding factors that are contributing to undernutrition. So we can treat the child at the center, but if the home and the living situation haven't changed or are getting more and more concerning, we obviously are afraid we're having the kids come back to the nutrition center as well.
Okay, we have to leave it there, Ms. Peach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that was Silky Peach. She is Technical Director with the global humanitarian organization Action Against Hunger. That's our health report for today. To stay in touch, find me on Twitter at Lenore Moudou. Vincent, back to you.
Well, Lenore, thank you very much. Now be sure to watch Lenore Moudou every Tuesday and Thursday for the latest health news in Africa, right here on Africa 54. It's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54, a beautiful Bobo Setzer new auction record. We'll be right back.
wanted to present music and a side of American culture that is most important to me, that is a part of who I am. They're going to get some incredible performances. That's one of the things I love, bringing these artists in so you can get to see them do what they do. It's soul music, and that's what music is. It's that which comes from the soul.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. A beautiful gem sells at a sky-high price. The Oppenheimer Blue is the largest and finest fancy vivid blue diamond ever offered at auction. The beautiful stone sold for a world record of $57.6 million after dramatic seesaw bidding at Christie's in Geneva. The stone got its name from the late Sir Philip Oppenheimer, who long oversaw De Beers mining. The sale price far surpassed the pre-sale estimate of $38 to $45 million. The buyer's identity is not known. The record for the most expensive diamond ever sold at auction belongs to an 813-carat white diamond that fetched $63 million last week. Well, next up, the U.S. presidential campaign is triggering heated debates. Now, the actor best known for portraying Bank Moreland, a detective in the U.S. television drama The Wire, was arrested and charged with simple battery after a woman told the police that he had smacked her in the head. Pierce was with his girlfriend when he encountered the lady and two of our friends in an Atlanta hotel hallway. The two groups began a conversation about politics, which got Mr. Pierce upset. A police report about the incident says Mr. Pierce has expressed support in the past for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Some reports indicate the alleged victim was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Well, and finally, a group of boys from an impoverished background in South Africa are being offered a lifeline in the form of free weekly sandboarding lessons. What started as a favor from a professional instructor who let the boys use his equipment on the dunes after his classes on one day is now credited with keeping the young men out of trouble. The lush sandy dunes in an hour's drive away from Cape Town are a stark contrast to the cramped, graffiti-riddled living quarters of the young members of the Atlantis Sandboarding Club. Out of the boys, who range in ages from 10 to 15, are picked up from their homes every Friday to practice on the sandy slopes. The hope is to keep the boys out of South Africa's notorious gangs. And that is what is trending today. Well, that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings today, Break Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC. That's Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching from all of us here in Washington. Have a good night.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words.
Does this word mean something good has happened?
Unleashed. The president is sending Secretary of State John Kerry to the Middle East to help build a coalition to defeat the militants who have unleashed a wave of violence that has included attacks on Iraq's Christians and other minority communities, and recently the videotaped killing of American journalist James Foley.
Unleashed means to let something very powerful happen quickly.
It is like taking a leash off a dog and letting it attack someone. In our story, the militants unleashed or set off a wave of violence.
Usually, unleashed does not mean something good.
So, the next time you hear the word unleashed, you will know what this news word means.